Hi guys, today we're going to be having a look at another newly released Dior eyeshadow Quint, and this one is Iconic Muse, and this is part of the Mitzah collection. I've already done a video on the Mitzah, that's the 10 colour wardrobe eyeshadow palette, and Dior are releasing a few new products at the moment, and I've also just recently done a video on their new primer as well. The one that I used was the Velvet Veil primer. So let's take a look at number 709, Iconic Muse. Now also as part of the Mitzah collection, there also appears to be some nail polishes, and the picture that showed this palette also has sitting beside it a mascara. It looks to be a red type of mascara, similar to the shade in here. Now, I haven't got great hopes for this palette. This shade in here being a red or a raspberry. I haven't swatched this yet. I've only taken photos of it for Instagram, so I'm not quite sure what this red is going to look like. But if you take away red out of this Quint, then I do love the other shadows. I think without the red, they would create a really beautiful soft look. But it seems to be at the moment that Dior are loving the reds, and that's what they are putting in their palette. So I will give this a go and see what it's like. And like the other Quints, this is made in France, has 7 grams of product, and has a shelf life from 6 months from date of opening. So first of all, I'm going to swatch this on my arm. I'm going to swatch from left to right and top to bottom, and I'll swatch the middle shade last. So here we've got a peach shade, and then here's a cream and a brown, and this is like I initially thought it was more like a raspberry shade, probably more of a burgundy type shade, and this is the middle one, and it has a bit of peach in it like this one, but is a bit cooler than this shade here. So I've already got all my base makeup on, and for primer I use the Dior Forever, the Velvet Veil. This is the one that I was saying that I did a video on the other day. So that's underneath the Dior Forever Foundation, and this is the matte foundation. And for my powder today, I used the one from the Mitzah collection, and it comes in this packaging. This is one I used and did a first impression on in a video the other day. This powder is absolutely beautiful, and I love it so much that I'm going to get a backup of it. I think it just gives such a beautiful soft look to the face, and on the Dior website it says that it is a mattifying type of powder. It's probably why I love it so much with my oily skin, but it doesn't give a dried effect, and I think it looks just beautiful over my pores. It just blurs everything out, and it's really lovely. Now initially when I tried this powder, to me it didn't look like there was any glitter in it, and there isn't any glitter like in those other loose powders that Dior have released, but there is a shimmer when I open it up and take a look at it, and I don't think it'll show on camera, but I'll hold it up anyway just so you can take a look at it. Now there is a little bit of a shimmer in here, but once you put it on your face, and I'm just going to turn the lights down here so you can see it, and I don't even think the camera will pick it up. So there is little shimmers, but you can't see them on your face, so it's not glittery or sparkly in any way. There is just this tiny shimmer, but I think the finish of this is just absolutely beautiful. And they call this is the shade Rose in the loose powder, and it is a rose shade, and it does have a slight scent. It is quite subtle. I just think this is such a beautiful powder. And I have been using for the first time, normally I don't use them, but the little sponge that comes with this to apply the powder, I have been using that. But today to apply the powder, I use the Sonia G. It's the Face One brush, and just buff the powder in, and I thought it went on beautifully with that as well. But the little applicator that comes with this to put the powder on, I think it does a really good job too. So I will use all the shades in this Quint so you can see how it looks. I'm really going to begin with all of these shades here, and I'm only going to use a tiny bit of this. This really throws red. I'm not going to put this under my eyes. I think it'll make my eyes look sore. So I'll concentrate on these first and then add, it'll be a little bit of this probably in the outer corner. So I'm going to take the Sonia G, this is the Classic Crease, and I'm going to go into this shade first, and I'm going to put that all over my lid. This is quite a soft shade. I'm just going to pick up a little bit more. I'm going to put that all over my lid and through my crease, and I'm going to take it above the crease as well. So because I have hooded eyes, it's just so when I open my eyes you can still see the eyeshadow. So probably in my videos recently, if I haven't got music edited in and there's a few quiet seconds, you can hear birds, and I don't have any birds in my house. But because it's summer here now in New Zealand and it's really warm, I have to have the windows open to this room, and they're to my right here. So I just open a couple of windows. And because we live rurally, there are a lot of birds around our property, and this time of the year they're extra busy. So if you can hear them in my video, I just want to let you know that no, I don't have a ton of birds in my house. I don't have any in my house at all. They're actually just around our property, and I get used to the noise because they're just here all the time. But you might have been wondering why I have so many birds in my house. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, this is the crease one, and I'm going to go into this brown shade here, and I'm going to deepen up my crease, and again take it above. I'll probably use another brush just to buff this out as well. So this is quite a subtle type of colour story so far, and I quite like it. I do like eyeshadows, can start off quite soft and build them up. I don't think that red shade is going to be soft to begin with. I think that's going to have quite a bit of pigment from the swatch that I did on my arm, so I'll go very carefully with that shade. But this is a lovely formula, and this is blending out really beautifully as well. I got quite a bit of fallout just there, so I'll just wipe that away. I might have gone in a bit harsh with this brush into the shadow. Then I'm just going to take the Chukuhodo, this is the blend brush, and I'm just going to just buff that out. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, this is the pencil one, and I'm just going to go back into that brown shade, and I'm going to put some of this on my lower lash line. I don't think I'll be putting that red on my lower lash line. If I do, it would just be just in this area here, but I'll see what it's like when I put it on the outer corner first before I decide to put it on my lower lash line or not. So far this is really pretty. It's nothing groundbreaking or anything like that, but I think the couple of shades that I've used so far are really lovely. So now I am going to go into this red shade here. I think I'll grab my Rapha number 14 brush, and I'm just going to go fairly carefully at first. So I'm going to pop a little bit of this in the outer corner. I don't know how pigmented it will be on the eye. So there is quite a bit of pigment. I won't be dipping into the palette again. I'm just going to really, I want to soften that up. So I'm going to take it out towards the center of my eye. I'll put a little bit in the crease, and I'll take it just slightly above the crease as well. So this red shade, it is a matte and it does blend out really, really beautifully. Sometimes shadows that are the reds, there's also the purples as well. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to blend them out, and there is no trouble with this. It actually is blending out really, really beautifully. I'm just not a fan of this red shade. It does look stunning on some people, but I just don't, it doesn't look awful on me, but it's just not a shade that I really reach for. But the formula of it is really, really beautiful. So I'm not going to add that red shade underneath my eye at all. I'm just going to leave it on the outer corner. So I'm grabbing the Pencil One brush again, and I'm going back into this brown shade, and I just want to go over the shadow that I have on my lower lash line and just put down just some more pigment. And then I'm going to take the Sony G, this is the flat definer, and go into this middle shade here. So this is another peachy shade similar to that one, but this one is a lot lighter. So I think this is going to look really nice through here, and straight away I think it looks really, that looks really, really pretty. It's quite interesting. You can get one shadow and all of a sudden it just changes the look. So now that I've got the shadow on as well, I think it's really, really lovely, and I love it that I can lighten up this part of the shadow when I do my eyeshadow looks. I do prefer it if I can get it lighter through here. I just think for me it's just more flattering for my eye shape. And then I'm just going to use one of the applicators that came with the Quint. This is a sponge one that has quite the pointed edge, and I'm going to go into this cream shade here, and I'm going to put some of this in the inner corner. This would also be quite a nice shade to put on your brow bone as well, but I'm just going to pop it in the inner corner. So you might have noticed when I was doing my mascara that my lashes initially look quite white, and that's because I use this Chanel primer. I don't use it often, usually because I forget that I have it, but sometimes when I remember I put it on, and it just helps to give just a little bit more volume to my very sparse eyelashes, and I do think that is a really lovely primer by Chanel. So for blush, I'm going to use the one from their holiday collection, and this is the Cosmic one, and this is number 556. I really love the other blush that came out with this collection too, but I just don't want too much red. Now that I've got the red on my eyes, I didn't want to have red cheeks as well. And because there is a bit of peach in that colour story, I thought that this coral colour would go really lovely. And this is quite a shimmery type blush. It's very subtle, but I just think it's really, really lovely. So I'm just going to grab my Chocohodo brush and just swipe it through there. Now this blush is buildable, but initially it goes on quite subtle, but that's what I wanted really, because for me this colour story for the eyeshadow with that red in it is quite strong, so I just want the blush to be kept really, really subtle. So I'll just go into the blush again, and now just do the other cheek, and really that's enough blush for me with this eye look. I think the shade of this blush is really, really beautiful. And for lipstick, I'm going to use the Rouge Dior Forever one. This is in the shade 100, and it's called Forever Nude Look. This is from their matte range. I think the packaging of these are really lovely. Again, this is just a very subtle type of shade, and I love this matte formula and it really stays put. I think it's lovely. So here is the finished look, and just like with the Mitzah, the 10 colour wardrobe eyeshadow palette, I do think that this one, Iconic Muse, looks better on the eye than I thought it was going to, but then I did go really sparingly with that red shade. Now there are people that can wear this type of shade and it looks absolutely stunning on them, and if you're really interested in this color story, I thought the whole palette performed really beautifully. These two shades here are soft to begin with, but they are buildable, and even this deeper shade here, it just blended out really beautifully. I love the shade for the inner corner. I think it gives a really lovely brightness, and this one in the middle over the top of the other shade, I think it looks really beautiful. It's just that I tend to stay away from these type of shades. I'm glad I didn't put it on my lower lash line. I think just leaving it on the outer corner and really blending it out and just softening the whole color, I think it looks really pretty. Is this a Quint that I'm going to reach for a lot? Probably not, but really it's only because of the shade. But I do love it softened out, how I did it on the outer corner. And when I've taken above my crease and up over my brow bone here, I love it how it's diffused out. These shades have blended really beautifully. So it really depends whether this color story interests you or not. If it does, the formula is really beautiful and you won't be disappointed. The powder is just gorgeous. I love this powder, and that's why I am getting the backup. I think it makes my skin look absolutely beautiful. It's about the middle of the day here when I'm filming. It's really hot today, plus I've got the lights in front of me as well, so that increases the temperature in the room, and the powder just makes everything beautiful. And I always have one or two breaks when I do a video, so I've been wearing the foundation now for at least, and the powder for at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, and I think it's looking really beautiful. There's a little bit of a glow coming through, but I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous powder. So I'm really pleased with this Quint that I picked up from Dior. I know I've said it a few times now. It does look better on the eyes than I thought it was going to, and even when I did those swatches at the beginning of the video, I wasn't too sure about that red colour. It's more of a burgundy, but it does look really lovely. The more I look at it, I do think it is really pretty, but just not a colour that I reach for very much at all. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else Dior brings out in 2023. I think now with this Mitzah collection, probably had enough of the reds and maybe enough of the pinks, and let's see what else they come out with. And if I can get my hands on it, then I would definitely be doing reviews on future items as well. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.